Hi, my name is Katie Richard, and I am the Education and Training Coordinator of Thibodaux Regional. We've learned a lot over the last few months about trying to keep our employees safe, our patients safe, our visitors safe during COVID-19, and we've maneuvered that very well. And so we really felt like we have the knowledge to share with the diocese to be able to partner, because what is more important than keeping our children and faculty safe as they head back to school? We are looking at the CDC guidelines, the Louisiana Department of Education recommendations, and the Region 3 medical director's recommendations. That's kind of overwhelming for a school to look at. So we took all of that and tried to put it into one plan and teach the faculty and staff, this is how we turn that into action at your schools. That is the teacher and faculty education. We also have support for the student when they go back to school with signage. So we have many posters that have been sent to the schools, very professional posters showing how do you wash your hands? What is the 6 feet social distance? Wearing your mask, stay home if you're sick, which we can't stress enough, along with the 6 foot kind of floor signage, because children don't know their own space and how to navigate that. And so it's important to give them a guide to use as they're getting used to these new changes in the school. The third part of education is for the parents. We know parents are sitting at home worried about sending their kids back to school. If you're watching the news all day long, it can really make it very stressful for you to think of sending your child into the world right now. So what we wanted was for them to have real information, and we have made a parental booklet that is going to go home the first day of school for each child to be able to show them what are the symptoms, signs, what are you looking for, how can you prevent it, and you know, Thibodaux Regional believes in health and wellness, so how can you keep your child healthy? The other part, which is important as well, is when we look at what's happening in the studies as far as children go, it's the stress that all of this pandemic is causing on a child as far as the changes that might be in the school. So the booklet also covers some tips on how do you talk to your child. You want them to know it's important, but you also don't want to cause fear. So trying to find the right balance of that, we try to give you tools to be able to guide you. Then we're going to launch a web page on our Thibodaux Regional, so it's www.thibodaux.com, which is going to have a lot of COVID-19 materials for the parents. Again, going back to real facts, that booklet will be there in case they lose it or want to look at it more. We also will have videos, so if a parent wants to watch a hand hygiene video with their child, how do you wash your hands? How do you wear a mask? We'll have that support there. A teacher could even play that video in the classroom, and so we would know that the teacher would have access to that anytime if we need some reinforcement. And so by having those 3 aspects of education, we're hoping that we have all the tools there for everyone who needs them.
Just generally your thoughts on the things you have learned and heard and seen so far today.
We found out today that we're going to have, the first 3 days, we're going to have medical staff from Thibodaux Regional with us, and they can help us if there's any situations that come up when kids are getting dropped off and parents have questions or we have questions. And then there's going to be like a hotline that we can call and talk to a nurse and ask questions to her. So we have a lot of support. There's going to be like a website for the parents and a booklet that they're going to get on the first day. So there's a lot of information that's going to be out there for us.
So a teacher should be able to focus on the education of the child and be able to do what they are experts at. They shouldn't have to be experts at all the clinical information, and that's where our partnership benefits the ongoing support of a nurse line. So anytime at school that a faculty member, staff member, administration has a question, something comes up with a child who's having symptoms, we can have that nurse line, they can call it, and that infection control nurse that's on the other end of that line, so that'll be manned by our infection control nurses, will be able to get the right facts, give them the right information, and that too just helps to support the best decision for that school and for that child. And so along with that nurse line, we also have the option for what's called an expedited visit. So we know if somebody's sick at home or if a faculty member or child gets sick at school, we need you to seek out health care. And if you have a provider, we want you to see that provider, but we also will offer a provider if you need one. So if you get sick and you would like to see someone that day, we will have different options available through virtual visit, through a face-to-face visit. And if in that visit they decide you should have a COVID test, we'll have a streamlined process to get you to that test. So with all the stress and anxiety a parent may feel if you think your child might be sick with COVID, if we can minimize that by having smooth processes and very good, quick access to competent care, then that takes the burden down just a little bit. And so we want to be there.
Well, again, Katie Richard from Thibodaux Regional Medical Center has been with us. Tremendous job in explaining what seems like such an overwhelming amount of information, but incredibly important information. Everything you just said. So hopefully our parents and our faculty and staffs who have already been receiving the training from Katie here at Thibodaux Regional, very impressive information. Again, we want to thank you for joining us. God bless you.